Hello everyone and welcome to 2016 into Topic A. My guest this week, State Senator John Yudichak. We're going to be talking about the budget, the SHINE program here in Luzerne County and where it started from in Carbon County, plus a lot of other issues facing our area, what the Senator has to say and what they're working on in Harrisburg. Coming up next on Topic A, only on WYLN.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
During these changing times, is your insurance program up to date? I'm local Allstate agent Gary McNeilis. I invite you to come into our office or give us a call. We'll help you be sure that you have the proper coverage to take care of all your family's needs at a price you can afford. Now more than ever, you need to be in good hands to protect everything that's important to you. Our team of insurance professionals and I will be honored to serve you. Are you in good hands?
S.J. Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric, Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Welcome back to Topic A, everyone, and I'm very pleased to be joined by Senator John Yudichak, first guest of 2016, Senator, so thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
A lot has been going on over the Christmas break, and of course maybe the biggest thing, is the budget. It's been tossed back and forth for 6 months. Finally, the governor came out and said he was going to veto line items in the budget, but release emergency funding to school districts and human services across the state. A lot of those human services are saying that's good, but we're still waiting to see what else is going to happen because there's still really no budget in play for Pennsylvania today so far.
Well, when you have an unfinished budget, when you have a blue line budget like this, it's very difficult, whether it's human service agencies or nonprofits or counties or school districts. Particularly, school districts are in the planning phase for next year's budget right now, and whether or not they have to raise taxes up to the index, the state index. So there are a lot of questions that are unanswered, a lot of unfinished business. We need to get back to Harrisburg, need to get back to the negotiations table, do a full and comprehensive budget, recognize the reality of the math. We have a structural deficit of $1.3 billion. So before we could even get to the status quo, we have to address that shortfall. We need to address that. We clearly need a revenue package that could be responsible. I mean, I've supported several initiatives, a severance tax on natural gas. There's no reason that should not have been part of this year's budget. It looks like it will likely be part of next year's budget. There's growing consensus, Republican and Democrat. But clearly, we need to recognize we have to govern. There's been a lot more said and a lot less done than at any other time I can remember in Harrisburg during this budget process. A lot of rhetoric, a lot of campaign-style tactics during this budget process, rather than folks sitting down and recognizing that the taxpayers of Pennsylvania could care less about Republican ideology, Democratic ideology. They want a fair and responsible budget that delivers to the taxpayers of Pennsylvania.
And with this whole issue that has been going on now since really July, that back and forth with the budget, a lot of people going into this had said it's going to be hard because you have a Republican-controlled House and Senate, you have a Democratic governor, and recently, I was kind of shocked when I heard this, but someone had said on one of the programs I was watching, well, here's a governor who owned his own business, ran his own business, really didn't have to answer to anybody, and now when he had to answer to somebody, he's not playing fair. Is that a fair statement?
There's enough blame to go around. I think what happened in June, you had a Republican House and Senate pass a budget that did not allow the governor to negotiate or the Democrats in the House and the Senate to negotiate. Okay. It was a one-party arrangement. That's not fair to the governor. That prompted a veto. I think a lot of us thought he might blue line that bill. He did not. It's unprecedented in modern political history to have a full veto. And there you have, so there was a lot of back and forth, campaign style tactics, as I mentioned, on both sides. Right. And unfortunately, that's created a very hostile environment. I've always been a pragmatic, bipartisan, consensus-building politician. That's why I work together with Congressman Barletta or Representative Toohill or my other colleagues from around the state, whether it's the SHI program, the Mobile Street Crime Unit, any of these initiatives. I recognize that can't simply be done by a single Democrat. Or a single Republican. We have to work together. And I think both sides, the governor came off a very big election, being an incumbent governor. It never happened in Pennsylvania. And I think a lot of people around him thought he had a mandate. And the Republicans, who have the largest majorities since the 1950s, felt that they had a mandate. And those mandates clashed. Now we have to say, listen, there are no mandates.
Right.
There's only the responsibility to govern. Let's get back to the business of governing.
Is it, and if this is a fair question or not, but, what is the feeling being going around in the Senate? Right now the Democrats in the minority. What's the feeling? Is there a lot of give and take, or is it a lot of take when it comes to the governor?
The Senate actually upheld its end of the bargain in this process. Republicans and Democrats worked together and passed a $30.8 billion budget, which was a full comprehensive budget. We passed pension reform. I was, along with several other Democrats, joined the Republicans in passing historic pension reform, deal with our unfunded liability, deal with the structural unsustainability of the program, and we passed some liquor monetization bills. So we were able to do that, Democrat and Republican, and the governor being a part of those negotiations and supporting that effort and supporting that, what they called the framework budget. Unfortunately, it failed in the House. And we were not able to get it done at the end of last year. But the Senate has been working together in advancing those kind of issues. So there is opportunity for bipartisan consensus. There is an opportunity for coalition building so that we can get a responsible budget. Unfortunately, again, I think this perpetual campaign mentality where the other side's the enemy, that's just not healthy for the governing process. We saw it play out in Washington, even in Washington where you had a speaker driven from office from within his own party because they didn't feel he was Republican enough. You have a little bit of that going on in Harrisburg, where Republicans are fighting with one another on who is more conservative or who is more true to the party line. I think we would be better served if we step back from that party line, that partisan purity, and say, we are Pennsylvanians. We are Americans. We need to work together to get things done for the people that we care about in our districts and across Pennsylvania. Getting back to investing in education, job creation, and public safety. Those three pillars, that's the responsibility of the core function of government. That's what we should be focused on, rather than the next political litmus test.
Well, I want to go down to education. This governor, when he campaigned on education, that for everybody, for all the students, put it, I think it was $15 million in additional education funding. Some of that was to come out of taxing natural gas, raising the taxes on items sold. Some of it happened within this budget battle, some of it not. But to fund educational programs such as SHINE, after-school programs, pre-K programs, that has to be a driving force when it comes to the budget to make sure that these students, the ones who are at most risk, are taken care of first.
Right. Well, there's a couple of things. One, the governor had and has held to $400 million in new money for education. That's basic education, that's special education, and that's higher education. Serious cuts over the last 4 years, close to $1 billion cut across the board, trying to get back to where we were 4 years ago. And to start that march so that we make sure that we're making gains and not losing ground in the classroom. So that certainly was a focus. But we haven't had a fully functioning educational formula in 30 years in Pennsylvania. We had a basic ed funding commission on education. They came up with a new formula. That new formula was supposed to start this year. That hasn't happened. That's where school districts that, like Hazleton, that have grown, they're not getting fair treatment under the formula system. The old formula system. New funding formula would help school districts like Hazleton and Wilkes-Barre. We need to change it to reflect that, whether it's a poverty ratio, whether it's an admissions ratio. Those kind of things should be where the money is needed the most, and the school districts where the money is needed the most, that's where the money should be driven. You have some school districts that have been held harmless because of the old formula. They might be funded at 1,000 students and only have 600 students in the classroom. Well, the state's funding those extra students. That's not fair to the residents of Hazleton. We need a fair formula. So that's another part of this that needs to be done, unfinished work that we have to get done in Pennsylvania.
Well, Senator, I'm going to take a break right here. When we come back on topic 8, we're going to talk about the SHINE program, something Senator Yudichak is very instrumental in getting it here in Luzerne County. We'll be right back.
Hold on a second. Yeah.
Baby's coming.
Now?
Yes, now.
Call you back. Did she go to the hospital?
Just a few minutes ago.
Your wife's having the baby.
What?
The baby. Go. I got this.
You're sure?
It's what I did when I started this place.
We know what went into building your wealth. Our financial advisors put the same care into helping you craft a plan to manage it. Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far.
Third Base Luncheonette, still making memories after all these years.
Hi, I'm Donna Palermo, Secretary of Palermo Heart to Heart. We are now recruiting businesses, nonprofits, and individuals to carry beads of courage to encourage children or teens who have cancer or who are coping with other serious chronic illnesses to participate in the program. Inside each Carry a Bead kit is a matched bead set. Every time you carry a bead, you connect with the child. You keep and collect the other bead as a symbol of your commitment to care. If you or your business would like to participate in Beads of Courage, please visit our website listed on the screen.
Express Care. Walk in and you walk into the region's most trusted health network.
Watch Off the Beaten Path on WYLN TV 35 and discover the Pennsylvania you never knew existed.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to Topic A, and I'm joined by Senator John Yudichak. Senator, I want to talk about the SHINE program. Great news came out just this week that some federal funding dollars are coming down for the next 3 years for the SHINE program, which has just kind of got off the ground in Luzerne County. I know last year you were here talking about it, and it started in a great project up in the Wilkes-Barre, Nanticoke, Wyoming Valley West area. It will start slowly to move now down towards Hazleton, so that has to be a great thrill getting all that money, $400,000 over the next, for each year for 3 years.
$400,000 each year over the next 3 years. The same grant secured also in Carbon County, a little less than $400,000, but a tremendous program. Congressman Barletta and I are so invested in this program because we know it works.
Right.
There is tangible, data-driven evidence over the last decade in Carbon County and how this changes children's lives. And how does it do that? Parents and families are engaged in the education project. Over 95% of the kids go on to the next grade, improve their academic performance, stay out of trouble, and find better positive pathways in their lives because of the SHINE program. This after-school program really is a pivot point in northeastern Pennsylvania. When you look at the poverty rates in Greater Hazleton, in northeastern Pennsylvania, when 1 in 3 children in Luzerne County are living in poverty, we need to change those numbers. We need to give these children and those families opportunity. The SHINE program last year, a little less than just shy of $1 million in local gaming money was driven into the program. In addition, a lot of private foundations, a lot of private companies have stepped up. The McGowan Foundation, the United Way of Greater Hazleton, United Way of Wyoming Valley stepped up in a big way with a major grant, and so we're very excited this public-private partnership to improve the lives of our children and improve the quality of life in our communities.
And it's great. You know, we've seen it work in Carbon County so long, and now it's working in Luzerne County. And you were just excited. I think it was about this time last year you came here and we did a couple of segments with you that it was getting off the ground. But you know, you said something interesting. And in Hazleton and you know, we've seen the unemployment rate has kind of dropped a little bit, but Hazleton has the second highest increase in poverty rate from this last census in 2010 through 2014. You know, and it kind of surprises me with all the industry out in Humboldt and all the work being done in Broad Street in downtown Hazleton to drive businesses here. You know, we're still living with this poverty rate. And it's overwhelming, and I know the new mayor is taking this to heart and trying to work as well. And the Senate, along with the state, have been very well invested in Broad Street, along with the industrial parks as well. Right. So this has to be, and excuse me, I'm rambling here, but this has to be something. When you look at the SHINE program, and look, say, oh, this is what we can do starting now to help the next generation. But there's also a lot being invested to help the current generation here, who's now working.
Sure. And we're going to work with Mayor Cassatt and Mayor George, new mayor of Wilkes-Barre. But you know, a few years ago, when Congressman Barletta and I got together and said, well, if we're going to invest time, money, and passion, and the political capital that we've been able to build up over the years in a single program to tackle the most important issues in our community, what's that going to be? How are you going to tackle childhood poverty? How are you going to tackle a serious issue that we have, chronic high unemployment? Even though our employment numbers are down, it's still the quality of the jobs that we are attracting to northeastern Pennsylvania. That's important. We got a tremendous project going on in Wilkes-Barre right now, but it's going to impact Hazleton, called Innovation Squared, where we are bringing in tech companies working with Penn State Hazleton, Penn State Wilkes-Barre, working with Wilkes University, King's College, where an average wage is $75,000 for a starting salary. That's tremendous for northeastern Pennsylvania. They're the kind of jobs we need to create. Well, to build the pipeline, you got to invest in education. Right. And when we saw numbers like a third of our kids living in poverty, when you see 1,000 kids over a 4-year period of time dropped out of our area high schools, unacceptable. 300 kids a year are dropping out of high school. That means they're dropping out of our economy. Right. That's why you're seeing that poverty rate go up. If you drop out of high school and you go out and you get a low-wage job, you have a family, boy, you're creating a cycle of poverty. You're creating a cycle of underemployment, if not unemployment, and in too many respects, you're creating a cycle of crime. And so we needed to break those cycles, those negative cycles, those negative trends, invest in a positive trajectory for northeastern Pennsylvania, and that positive trajectory is the SHINE program.
And it's doing great. And you mentioned something about crime. 2 years ago, you were very involved with getting the anti-gang crime here to Hazleton with the Attorney General, former Police Chief Frank DeAndrea. You know, that has been the starting point for this. How important is it for that to keep going, for this to hit city after city, borough after borough, to rid our streets? It did wonders here in Hazleton. We saw the criminals they pulled off the street. And now, just recently at a city council meeting, a resident is starting a petition that they want to see it come back to Hazleton, to do more good. keep funding that. How important is that for the state, and to help cities and boroughs, in our area?
And we've been very fortunate that $2.5 million that we were able to secure in the budget a few years ago for the Attorney General Mobile Street Crime Unit continues to be in the budget. It's in this budget as well. And to that citizen, that petitioning to have them come back, they have come back. And former Chief DeAndre, who, by the way, did a phenomenal job, we owe him a debt of gratitude. He was terrific in working with the Attorney General Mobile Street Crime Unit. He can tell you, they have been back, and they've been back in many ways. Everywhere that program has been, it's been in Harrisburg, it's been in the northern tier and some of our rural communities, it's been a tremendous success. The folks that put their boots on the ground and put on those Kevlar vests and go into those drug houses, I've chatted with them after every deployment. They tell me how successful that program is. We need to expand that program so that perhaps we have an Eastern Mobile Street Crime Unit and a Western Mobile Street Crime Unit, so it can be more in these communities. We recognize crime is not a Hazleton problem.
Right.
It's a problem of the 80-81 corridor. It's a problem in northeastern Pennsylvania, and it's a problem of drugs. One of the only areas that were increased in this budget signed by the government, drug and alcohol. Drug and alcohol treatment, prevention. Clearly we have an epidemic on our hands, a heroin epidemic particularly and specifically. We need to address that not only from a crime fighting strategy, but also from a treatment side. We need to tackle that. And again, back to Shine, you want to keep drugs off our street, you want to keep our children off drugs, empower them, give them the tools of education so that they can have a proud and productive life.
Real quick, I got to ask, a lot of people in our area keep wondering when property taxes are going to go away. I know House Bill and Senate Bill 76, I've talked to you about it, I've talked to Senator Argel about it, Representative Knowles. It's an old system that needs to go away, and to fund education properly through other taxes, not just taxing people or homeowners who may never had children in schools. And that's kind of in limbo.
Right. Well, Senator Argel, I have to give a lot of credit, and Senator Judy Schwank, my Democratic colleague from Berks County, they did a tremendous job in building a bipartisan coalition. I was proud to be a part of that bipartisan coalition to drive Senate Bill 76, the elimination of property taxes, and we got it further than it has ever been in the history of Pennsylvania. They never thought we'd get a committee vote. We got a committee vote. We got it out of committee. Never thought that we would get a vote on the floor of the Senate. We got a vote on the floor of the Senate, and the vote was 24-24, and then ended up being 25-24, defeating the bill. It's kind of like driving the ball down the field, getting to the 1-inch line, 4th and inches, and we got stopped before we got to the goal line. Dave and I have chatted, and we're going to go back to the drawing board. I continue to press and continue to emphasize any revenue package that we do in association with this unfinished budget or the next budget. Property tax relief, reform, elimination has to be part of it. It comes back for me. Every child deserves a shot at a quality education.
Right.
If you have, if you're not as fortunate as someone to live in an affluent neighborhood that may have a large industrial base or wealthy neighborhoods where you cannot raise money locally, you should not be punished. You should not be penalized. Every child in Pennsylvania, I believe, is empowered by our Constitution to get a fair, adequate, and quality education. The property tax system is taking that right away. It's eroding at that constitutional right of every child to a fair and quality education. That's why I want to see it eliminated in Pennsylvania.
All right, Senator, I have to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on Topic A. Stay with us.
Do-it-yourself stores may be fine for garden hoses and 2x4s, but appliances? Those guys may know these washers, but Grand Central knows these washers, and ranges, and refrigerators, and more. GE and GE Profile appliances are designed to reflect the modern approach to style, with clean lines and a streamlined look for today's kitchens. So for wood screws and wheelbarrows, go ahead, do it yourself. But for the right appliances at the right price, let Grand Central do it for you.
Combined Insurance makes it easy to protect you and your loved ones by paying cash directly to you when you need it most. Whether you're looking for accident and sickness, disability, or life coverage, Combined Insurance has a policy to meet your needs and fit your budget. Call John Ravello, 570-499-0504, for an appointment to help determine the best coverage for you. That's John Ravello, 570-499-0504. The holidays are on the way. If you don't have time to bake it, let Carmen's make it. Carmen's Bakery and Deli has everything you need for holiday gatherings. Everything is made fresh and on the premises with the best quality ingredients, from their famous nut and poppy rolls to their homemade breads, pastries, and pies. Carmen's has everything you need for your holiday table. Pumpkin pies and pumpkin rolls are ready to go and will make your holiday meal complete. Made to order specialty cakes, cookies, and deli trays too. Catering is also available. Carmen's will do all the work for you. Call and order early. Happy holidays from Carmen's.
WYLN is proud to announce a huge technical upgrade to our channels that will bring a better digital picture and expanded coverage area to viewers all over northeastern and central Pennsylvania. In addition to Channel 35.1 in Hazleton, you can watch a crystal clear picture in Berwick and Columbia County on Channel 47.1 and in East Stroudsburg on Channel 24.1. And we're proud to announce Pennsylvania's newest TV station, Channel 9.1 in Williamsport, serving Lycoming, Montour, Northumberland, and Union counties. Now more than ever, WYLN is your local network.
And welcome back, everyone. We have about 3 minutes left. So Senator, what are some of the goals you're looking forward to in 2016? Whether it's working in the budget or here at home, what are some things you're looking forward to and people should be, on the lookout for?
Well, the budget has to get done. We have to finish the job. That has taken up all the political oxygen over the last 12 months. We need to stay focused on that. We need a sustainable budget in place. We're going to continue to fight for pension reform, going to continue to fight for property tax elimination. We're going to continue to fight to create jobs and opportunities here in northeastern Pennsylvania. They remain the goal. And we're going to work with new elected officials, those folks that are in place, whether it's county level or local level, to build better communities. We want to work with Greater Hazel. We want to work with the new mayor and the new council members that are here part of Hazleton and the surrounding areas of Hazleton. There is a lot of opportunity over the next decade here in northeastern Pennsylvania to work with the Chamber of Commerce and Can Do, to work with the Wilkes-Barre Chamber of Commerce. As I mentioned, Innovation Squared, real exciting new project. Right. We're doing great things in terms of the Humboldt Industrial Park and some of the infrastructure projects that the state's going to be investing in over the years. And of course, the SHINE program. We're going to continue to drive and be passionate advocates for the SHINE program.
I know, outgoing former superintendent of the Hazleton area, Dr. Antonelli, was ecstatic about it. I was just talking with Dr. Butler, the new superintendent, who can't wait for the program and is really excited for it. So seeing this program, and I know we keep coming back to the SHINE program, but it's a great program. Everyone should read up on it and learn about it. This is something hopefully maybe one day it could be statewide and be beneficial for everyone.
Well, that's been my pitch. And listen, I want to invest more money in education, but I also want to invest in innovative, data-driven, evidence-based outcomes. And we need to change what I believe is basically still an 18th century model in terms of our educational system, funded with a 19th century tax. We have 21st century schools. 21st century schools, we got to recognize that you simply can't turn the kids back to the street at 2 o'clock. The school districts need to really be the community centers. All that investment made by the taxpayers in terms of the science and the technology, the athletic facilities, they need to expand upon that. The SHINE program is a perfect fit for that, a 21st century tool, a 21st century innovation to make our schools better, a better bang for our dollar, making sure that we're getting a better return. That's the beauty of the SHINE program. We're using the infrastructure that's already there. We're not building new infrastructure, so we can, on a very tight budget, impact a lot of families and improve the lives of a lot of children.
Well, Senator, we're out of time, and I want to thank you for coming on. You're welcome back anytime, and of course, stay with us here on WYLN. We have a lot of great Topic A shows coming up for you, so stay with us. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Attention area residents, show your support for local student athletes. Attend a live sporting event in your area. WYLN, we're your local network.